Team gives you a closer look at the events that happened around Maine this week.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Cindy Campbell. Tourism season is almost upon us, and now that Governor Mills has relaxed or removed many of the restrictions put in place during the pandemic, job openings in the hospitality field are plentiful. I chatted with Steve Hewins of Hospitality Maine this week about an initiative that will help connect job seekers with potential employers. It's called the Great Maine Comeback. So, Steve, give us an idea with the pandemic, how things have been going with Hospitality Maine and Maine's hospitality industry.
Hospitality Maine, basically represents all restaurants and hotels across Maine. We've got a big membership, and obviously the last 15 months have been beyond a challenge for many, and now there's a lot of optimism. So, really excited about that. Season's shaping up and looking good, and we got a bunch of issues too, but by and large, there's a lot of optimism this year.
And I think that's true of residents of Maine too. I think everyone is just really kind of chomping at the bit. Let's get things opened up, and things are starting to open up, and we can travel now and eat in restaurants and stay in hotels. And I think people are really getting excited about that.
No question. I mean, obviously hospitality industry itself is all about people and, welcoming people and serving people and working with the public. And, in the pandemic times, all those things were curtailed. I think a lot of the restaurants, especially hotels too, did a pretty good job trying to keep the public safe. A couple of incidences along the way, but by and large, everybody did a good job. And now it's, the governor's opened up the state a little more this month and hopefully even more so that we can get weddings back, we can get visitors coming here. But the main thing I was going to say is that the advanced demand, the advanced bookings this summer are really where they were 2 years ago in 2019, which was our record year.
Wow.
So there's a big demand that's coming, and it's from people that have seen Maine to be a safe place. And, it's good for the state because, we could use the revenues coming in at this point. It's all looking up from that side of the house.
Right, for sure. I was looking over your website, and you have some great information there. I mean, if you're looking for a place to eat, you can find it there. If you're looking for a place to stay, hotels that are open, you can find it there. A lot of information.
Also on the website of the Great Maine Comeback, greatmainecomeback.org. So it's called greatmainecomeback.org because it's listing all the restaurants and hotels across the state that literally are hiring instantly, like as people call. So that's the main problem we have right now is, obviously we're reopening restaurants and hotels. That's a challenge just in general. But staffing is the biggest problem. So everybody in the industry is pretty concerned about, we'll have a lot of people, but we may not have a lot of people to serve them. So That's the whole concept, the Great Maine Comeback. We're coming back. We need people to come back to work. And, and I guess the pay's never been better. And, there's a lot of flexibility on hours, when people can work. And, one of my best summer jobs, when I went to the University of Maine at Orono, and I worked summers as a waiter and, made a lot of money in about 4 hours a day. So, we got to get a lot of those people back. It'd be great.
And for people who are looking for jobs on your website, they can search the area, say they want to go into restaurants or into lodging, and you have a list of places that are hiring and how they contact them, right?
Yeah, it's exactly right. We're not like Indeed or jobsinmaine.com or any of those things. It's simply a search engine that has all the places, all the businesses that have signed on with us. There's over 300, around the state. And in the Bangor and Eastern Maine area, there's, dozens, many dozens. So, they just go on the site, search it, and then they click on, I'm interested, and throw a couple short little questions, and it goes directly to the person that's hiring. And I guarantee anybody that does that, they'll hear back from those people pretty quickly.
And, we're always hearing from businesses, especially restaurants, that we can't find people to hire. We can't find people to hire. If you're good at what you do, if you really want to dedicate yourself to a job like this, then you can make a lot of money. And there's a lot of jobs out there that are going to look great on your resume, that you worked and did a great job and got a great review from the employer.
Yes, that is it. It's really about, wanting to get back out and see people and work part of a team. That's the industry. People work together and share a lot of the job load and all that. But like I said, the pay is really, we did a survey of our Hospitality Maine members about a month ago, and we asked if pay was up, and 96% said pay was greater than it was in 2019. So it's the time. I guess what I would say is job seekers in general are in the driver's seat. And if you're that type of person, it's a great business to get into. And you can make it a career, or you can just, supplement other work or, work part-time.
Find more information at greatmainecomeback.org. Next, it's also the season for making improvements to your yard, to your house, maybe even your vehicle, and hopefully saving a little money while you do. Here's a conversation I had with Michael Stoddard of Efficiency Maine about why residents should familiarize themselves with this valuable website. So what is Efficiency Maine?
Efficiency Maine is the administrator for all of the energy efficiency programs across the state. We are a quasi-state agency that was established by the legislature in 2010 to use the funds that come from utilities and the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative to promote high-efficiency equipment in homes and businesses and factories all over the state.
And I'm sure it's a big deal everywhere, but that's a big deal in Maine because our heating costs are through the roof. So any money we can save on heating and electricity is a plus.
You're right. The Mainers are very conscious of energy costs because we use a lot of energy. And so anything we can do to cut back on how much we have to consume will help save us in our pocketbooks. And so we're all very sensitive about it, and Mainers are quite smart about their purchasing decisions. When they go to buy light bulbs or heating systems or insulate their homes, they know it's smart to get the high-efficiency stuff so that you don't have to pay so much over the life of the product.
Right. You mentioned light bulbs. I was amazed. I went to your website and was looking through some of the information you have there, and you actually have a page that talks about which light bulbs are best and which color light bulbs are best for reading. I mean, really some valuable information.
Yeah, that website at efficiencymaine.com is a tremendous resource, and we get thousands and thousands of visitors to that website every month, and it's got so much information, whether you're a homeowner wondering about appliances or lights, as you mentioned, or thinking about maybe, since so many of us are spending much more time at home these days, we're thinking about our heating system, maybe our cooling. Is it a good time to be thinking about a heat pump maybe, which can give you both heating in the winter and cooling in the summer, or dehumidification, but also businesses and all the commercial spaces like school buildings and municipal buildings and hospitals. All of them have a lot to think about with how they heat and cool their buildings. So anytime people are looking to make those kinds of investments, that website has tons of information about the different kinds of products and how efficient they are and what kind of rebates we might be offering to help promote the high efficiency models.
Wonderful. So if folks want any information about anything to do with heating their home or electricity or anything, they should go to your website.
The website is efficiencymaine.com, and when you get there, you can see it's set up to ask you right away, are you a person who's got questions about things at home, which is one part of the website, or are you a person who's got questions about equipment that you would use at work? And so the at work is another part of the website. So when you get there, look for either the home or the work section and click on that, and that'll get you down the pathway to the different kinds of equipment that is applicable in those different kinds of buildings. We, of course, have some other programs we're pretty excited about that don't always fit into one of those categories, so sometimes those special initiatives will be scrolling across the screen when you get there. Another thing that's really valuable for many customers who are starting out on some kind of a project that you can find on our website is how to find a contractor. Some of us may not have a plumber or an electrician or a weatherization installer that we know, and so we want to find somebody who's nearby, and these locator tools are fantastic. You look on our website for something called Find a Vendor, and type in your zip code and the kind of service you're looking for, and it will generate a list of all the people who have registered with us to have their business listed. So it's almost like a yellow pages for contractors, and lots of people find that very helpful.
Oh, that's wonderful, especially because it's hard to trust the sometimes word of mouth or, my brother-in-law can do that. It's better to have someone that you know is reputable.
Yes, that's exactly right. And we have quite a bit of information on these locator tools. So if the vendor or the contractor has their own website, we have a link to that website. It's got their phone number and their address. If they're registered there, you know that it means they've done a couple of minimum requirements with us. They have signed a code of conduct with us. They've acknowledged that they carry the proper insurance. So there's a couple of things like that you would take some comfort in if you saw it on our list, that those folks have signed up with us and they are in good standing with us to continue to be listed on that website. And then you get a whole list of them you can choose from. We strongly recommend that people try to get price quotes from at least 2 and preferably 3 different vendors, and make sure you get a good price on a project. And you'll also get you can get some good references that way too.
Awesome. So I would think that it would be a good idea for folks, even if they're not maybe right now looking for a contractor or looking to buy an appliance, just to go and familiarize themselves with a website, so when they do need it, they know where to go to find it.
Yeah, you know, a lot of us buy equipment when the old one breaks.
Right.
And when that happens with a heating system or a water heater, it's no fun, and you don't want to wait around to figure out a bunch of things about who sells it and what the different models are. You want a hot shower tomorrow morning before you go off to work, or you want to make sure that the house is heated right when you need it. So you're not going to take a couple of weeks to think about it, and you need to act quickly. So I think you're right that it would be a good idea if folks know that some of their equipment is reaching the end of its normal life. You've had it around for 7-8 years. Do go onto the website and search around a little bit to get some information about the different kinds of high-efficiency new technology that's out there. It's amazing how much new technology comes along every year. When we started these programs, heat pumps were not a strong candidate for a heating system in Maine to get you through the winter. They just didn't perform well in the cold weather 10 years ago. But the advances that they've made in that technology since then are incredible. And these things will make heat very happily, even when it's minus 10 degrees Fahrenheit outside, which does not happen very often. So for all the other hours of the year, these heat pumps are just a fantastic heating source, and we're so proud that more than 50,000 of them have been sold in Maine in the last 7 years. So you're really starting to see it go viral almost with popularity. And a similar thing is starting to happen with water heaters that use heat pump technology. They're called a heat pump water heater. And we're seeing Mainers now buy about 10,000 a year of those. So it's really incredible what's happened. I think even the contractors would have told you 5 years ago that they weren't so sure that they would be popular in Maine, but they're really, really popular.
I remember doing an interview with your agency, may have been with you, several years ago about heat pumps. And I had no idea what they were. I had to go, I had to Google it and look online a little bit to do some research. And they're amazing.
They really are. And we're very fortunate that that technology has come along because it provides exactly what we need in this kind of climate. And it does it very, very efficiently at very low cost. So I think you're going to see more and more people moving to that. And I think people will start building new homes and new businesses, and that's all they're going to use is those heat pumps. They won't have both systems. They'll just go to that kind of a system. And interestingly, that's going to be very helpful for Maine to achieve its climate change goal. People keep saying, well, the things that we currently use fossil fuels for, we're going to have to shift to something different that's cleaner. And electricity is that cleaner thing that people are going to be able to shift to with things like heat pumps and heat pump water heaters.
Tell us what's going on with Efficiency Maine and e-vehicles.
So we got a bunch of things going on with programs to promote electric vehicles. And the first thing we're doing is making sure that there's enough chargers out there in public where people can charge up along the way. You don't usually need to do that as much as you do with a gas car when you have to fill up, because you don't have a gas station at your home. But with electric, you got an electrical plug you can plug in at home, just like you do with your cell phone. So a lot of people charge up at home, but when they're on the road traveling for business or for pleasure, you want to know there's a place out there you can charge up. And so we have an exciting new initiative this spring where we're going to do a competitive bid to put new chargers all along I-95 from Waterville up to Bangor, over to Ellsworth, down Route 1, all up in the Bangor area. So we're really excited about that. So there's going to be places you can charge up. But the next big thing that's coming is the cars. And there's a bunch of models out there now, and there's a whole bunch more coming this summer and next summer, including pickup trucks and vans and SUVs. So we're pretty excited about that. A couple $1,000s off on an all-electric car and $1,000 off on a plug-in hybrid electric car. And there's more and more coming out there, different price ranges and different styles. So we're pretty excited about that.
Right. All right. So I was looking at your website, and it talks about the Level 2 Juice Box Smart Charger. What makes this better?
So this is a research project, actually, and people who have an EV and think they are going to get a home charger, this is one that will send data back and forth so we can see what's happening in real time. But one of the things that EVs are going to do is when everyone comes home from work at the end of the day, if they plug in all at the same time, it's going to put quite a strain on the grid.
Right.
They got really big batteries in them. It's everyone coming home doing that at the same time. And, I think 5 years from now, 10 years from now, most Mainers will be buying an EV when they buy their next car in the next 10 years. Imagine that. In the country of Norway this past year, 75% of every new car that was bought was some kind of an EV.
Wow.
And we're moving in that direction. When that happens, you don't want to crash the grid by having too many people plug in at once. So these things have a timer in them, just like you do with some appliances like your dishwasher. You can set it to start charging at midnight, and that's what these juice boxes do.
I had heard about that. General Motors announced that they're shifting to EVs. I don't know when they plan to make the switch completely, but it's not too far off, is it?
Yeah, it's totally for real. It's 4 years from now. 30 new models they'll have by 2025. Apparently, they're going to have a bunch of ads on the Super Bowl. So I'm looking forward to watching the Super Bowl, which I was going to do anyway. They're bringing out Cadillac EVs. Ford is just about to release the Mustang as an EV. You've got a whole bunch of new SUVs like the RAV4 and the Ford Escape and the Pacifica. So you got all these different kinds of cars. They're the regular cars we all like to drive around here in Maine, and they're switching over to EV. So it's going to be really interesting.
Great information, Michael, and I encourage anyone to go to your website because Efficiency Maine can save you money on everything from your light bulbs to electronic vehicles.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. We're trying to help people lower their operating costs, and it's also good for the environment. So go to efficiencymaine.com. There's tons of information on there. Check it out. And when you get to that point where you think you're getting ready to buy your next car, give these a really hard look.
Find more information at efficiencymaine.com. I'm Cindy Campbell. Thanks again for joining us, and stay healthy.
Join us again next weekend for Maine Concerns with your Town Square Media News team.